All right, students, 4.1, write equations in slope-intercept form. If you can copy down this would be fantastic. Again, I just pulled these out of our textbook. The first one is asking us to write an equation of each line in slope-intercept form. So remember, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. And we talked about that last chapter. The m represents the slope, to rise over run, and your b is your y-intercept. That's where it crosses the y-axis at that point. The first thing that you want to do is you want to identify, well, you can actually pick anything. I know that it crosses at a -3. So some information, I know that my b is -3. That's my y-intercept. The next thing you want to look at is the slope, rise over run. So I'm just going to count, and I can take my highlighter. No, actually I'm going to take this. I'm going to count how many units I'm rising. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is +6. And I'm running it to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is +4. So remember, slope is rise over run, and if you can simplify, please simplify, and it comes out to 3/2. So when I put this together in slope-intercept form, this is what my final answer is going to look like. Y equals 3/2x minus 3. Okay, let's take a look at b. We're going to do the exact same thing. Again, my b is where it crosses the y-axis, so it's at a +2. And then my slope, rise over run, you can go down and run to the right, or you can go up and run to the left. But remember, we are going to have a negative here. I'm actually going to go down 1, 2. Looks like we're going down 3 units, so that's why I have a -3 there. Run across 1, 2, 3, 4. +4. So your m is down 3, run across 4. Again, that negative can go anywhere as long as you have one negative. So if I put in y equals mx, which is -3/4x plus 2. And there's your answer. Okay. All right, so that's, if you're given a graph, that's how you would figure out the equation of the line. What happens if you were not given a graph? What do we do? So we have something called, we're going to use the slope formula given 2 points. And then we need to figure out where it crosses our y-axis. And there's going to be something special about these points. I want to point that out to you. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form. The first thing I'm going to do is take my highlighter, and when I'm thinking about this, I'm looking at my points, and there's something special about this point. This is special because it is your y-intercept. It's special because it is your y-intercept. That's actually your b, so b is equal to -1. Okay, only because if I were to visually look at this on a number line, it would be 0, go down 1, and that's where it crosses my y-axis. So sometimes you are going to have some special points. Sometimes you're not. So remember, anytime that I'm putting in slope-intercept form, I need 2 things. I need my b and I need my y-intercept. I'm sorry, my slope and my y-intercept. So I don't have my slope, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use the slope formula. Remember, the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm actually going to do that, and I'm going to label this y1, x1, y1, x2, y2. Plug it in here. So we're going to have -1 minus 5 over 0 minus a -3. We are going to have a double negative here, so this is -6/3, and this gives me a -2. So I've already identified my b. My m is equal to -2. So those are the two things that we need, right? That's what we've been looking for. Those are the two things that we need to put it in y equals mx plus b. So y equals -2x minus 1. I know it's all over the place, and the next problem I can kind of organize it, but that's the process, okay? Again, sometimes you want to look at these points. This is special because it is my y-intercept. Remember, we need to find our slope. So label x1, y1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Again, we're putting it in that formula. So it's going to be -5 minus a -5 over 8 minus 0. And we do have a double negative here, so this is now -5 plus 5. That gives me 0, and then 8 minus 0 is this. So we have what we call a 0 slope. So if I know that my b is -5 and my m is 0, and I plug it into y equals mx plus b, y equals 0x minus 5, I know that this is 0, so you don't need that. Final answer, y equals -5. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and move right along. This is our last example. A linear function f, that just means that it's a way to label. Nothing changes. F of x is the same thing as y equals mx plus b. So I do want to let you know that these are functions, and remember, the input is 0 and the output is 10, so this is a point. F of 6 is equal to 34, so our input is 6, our output is 34. This is another set of points, okay? What do I notice? I notice that this is a special point. I notice that it's my b, so my b is equal to 10. And again, we need our m and our b, so the only other thing I need to figure out is my slope. So label x1, y1, x2, y2, plug it into y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Simplify, we end up with 34 minus 10 over 6 minus 0, 24 divided by 6, and that gives me 4. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that my m is 4. So now that I have my m and my b, I can just rewrite it. Slope is 4, b is 10. If you write it as y equals 4x plus 10, I will accept it. So any one of those I will accept.